from pneumonia every 20 seconds. 2 million each year. More than AIDS, malaria, and measles combined. To diagnose pneumonia in these countries, you don't have access to X-rays and lab tests like we do here. So the diagnosis of pneumonia instead of a cold for this child relies on his respiratory rate, which manually is calculated by counting the number of breaths in 1 minute. But in fact, even in industrialized settings, this is difficult and so inaccurate. But in developing countries, it's often skipped completely because a healthcare worker will only have 2.5 to 3 minutes with a child because of how out of balance the patient-to-doctor ratio is. We can be the distant experts that the healthcare worker, mother, and child are counting on. We're back at NASA, Mission Control Room, with the opportunity to make innovations here that will change lives there. But just like the engineers putting themselves in the astronaut situation, we have to imagine that we're in the health clinic in Mozambique. If we look around, what do we see that should be taken into account? We see a healthcare worker who's been trained in the World Health Organization's process for diagnosing and treating children. If we make a device that can complement this process, then we're going to reduce the training associated with it. We also see that they're using natural lighting so that they can afford more medicine. So obviously, cost effectiveness is going to be a major factor. Any reliance on expensive equipment or an internet connection is going to seriously limit us. But we're still likely to need some way to collect and analyze data. But then we see it. There in the room is this. You might think of it as an outdated mobile phone. But in fact, this device is computationally more powerful than the Apollo 13 onboard computer, which is destined for the moon, in every healthcare worker's pocket. Once everything's laid out on the table like this, it becomes pretty clear what the next step is. We need a low-cost, low-tech respiratory rate sensor, which can take advantage of the healthcare worker's existing training and work to utilize the computing power that they now have access to. If we can make the 3 minutes in consultation truly count and provide the healthcare workers with the tools that they need to make the life-saving diagnosis, then children's lives can be saved. An application of electrical engineering, which is